Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and today let's talk decoy tools. And a decoy tool in my book is something that looks like a good tool and is shared and loaned just like a good tool might be, except it's not necessarily a great tool. Could be a decent tool, but sometimes when you're paying many times more for, say, the quality of Snap-on or Avira or Knipex or something, you don't want to just hand that to anybody if they need a tool. And a lot of times you want to be nice and share tools, loan tools, or go to somebody else's project and help them with it, knowing that they'll be using your tools. So I have a lot of what I call decoy tools, and sometimes they're even hanging in the garage in a particular way, so they'd be the easiest or first to be grabbed. So if somebody's over working on something, it's grab a wrench. They grab maybe the wrench that's easy to grab rather than maybe the Snap-on that's underneath. But first, I wanted to mention this. Remember this box that appeared in a previous video? This one that's kind of a vintage old box, that contains some sockets. Anyway, one of the commenters with sharp eyes noticed there's a little 5.9 right here, which he said is the date code. So 1959. So that's like, what, 62 years ago? This particular Snap-on box. Not bad. I like it even more. But anyway, decoy tools. So what I've got here are sets of tools that might seem like you've got an extra tool. Do I need two linemans? Well, I actually have a bunch of linemans, but if I was hanging these in the garage, they might be hanging like this on a nail, meaning you'd grab this and use it. If I need this one or know about it, I can grab it, but it's not the first one. And unless somebody really knows their tools, they aren't going to make any big distinction between these. But so I've got big linemans, I've got my smaller linemans, plenty of different kinds of dikes and cutters where I may have the old school. A lot of these are Craftsman, that's why I still have them. As a matter of fact, they're my decoy tools. When it comes to screwdrivers, not only am I kind of protective over my quality Snap-on screwdrivers. That's one of the reasons I keep these Craftsman around. But I might have some old Snap-ons kind of in the mix that sort of straddle that area between the decoy and I guess the disposable on the far end. So I'm not as worried if people grab the Snap-ons. I just don't like these things winding up in odd places. Kind of same. Got two small 1/4-inch ratchets. This is a low profile Craftsman, fine tooth, made in, I don't know, not here, versus my Snap-on. I'm just a little protective as to who gets a hold of that. So I've got plenty of little things like this around that serve a need. If something goes wrong or I've got a real special job, I'll pull out the good stuff. But there's lots of different bit driving screwdrivers in addition to the Snap-ons and Viras and PB Swiss. Duck builds, got the Snap-ons hiding underneath the Craftsman. I've got the Craftsman on top of my Knipex here, although I'm not too worried about those. I've used some pretty hard and I haven't seen them damaged. And of course, if the adjustable wrenches, I just don't want my Snap-on floating around, ends up in somebody's back pocket. I don't see it again. I started doing decoys a long time ago. One time, I was working in an office and I always had a decoy stapler on my desk. And the decoy stapler was a stapler that didn't work very well. And what it taught people to do is not borrow office supplies from me. It was right next to the empty tape dispenser. Of course, I had a good stapler and tape dispenser back in the day when we used tape and staples, but they were not on full display. So if somebody would come in, yeah, I can borrow this, and then run out and then bring it back because it doesn't work. Well, there, I just solved my problem. By the way, this is my collection of tiny little screwdrivers from Craftsman. They still have plenty of life left in them. Teeny weeny little Torx and slotted Phillips, etc. But you know, of course, this is the one that I like now. But I'm pretty particular who gets to use these because I don't want them messed up. And you know, that's when you see somebody in there working on something and then all of a sudden they're pounding on it and then banging on it with another tool. And I don't want to be, you know, really hard on anybody for misusing tools. So what I'd rather do is just provide them some tools and maybe educate them a little bit. The other thing is sometimes people have big jobs and I just, you know what, here, take it. Hang on to it. You know, if I need it back, I'll get it later. And that's because I will just move another one into that position because I have more. And sometimes I'm working on things with younger people, kids maybe, and I just want them to go to town. I'm so excited that they're working on projects that I don't want to turn into you know, somebody who's constantly monitoring the tools. I'd rather set up the environment for success. Here, use the heck out of this thing. I paid like 99 cents for it 25 years ago or 50 years ago or something. Actually, I was going to do a video on these two Wilmars. But anyway, if I hand them, you know, these, I'm going to be nervous. I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know if I'm going to see them again, or they're going to get misused. You know, wow, great hammer, or they're going to do something funny that's going to end up ripping the grips off. It's kind of that old saying, this is why we can't have nice things. Well, I have nice things. I like nice things, but I also have things that aren't quite as nice that I use for those who aren't quite as caring about them. And I think that's totally fair. So yeah, you're welcome to borrow my tools. Absolutely. Borrow this. Not this one. But I'm not going to try to say that. I'm just going to get something else in the way. Usually that solves the problem. Anyway, I'm curious about what your decoy tools are, or how you use decoy tools. Or do you just slap one of those big stickers on your Snap-on toolbox that, you know, has some awful outcome to anyone who borrows tools, or just automatically says, don't even ask? Well, no, sure, ask. These are tools designed for work. But I'm pretty picky, and I think you are too. So tell me about it in the comments. And with that, Doc out.